Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the September 24th edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Marissa May. Activists around the country and here at UNC are rallying for justice. I'll give you an inside look at their efforts.
I'm Erin Franklin. Coming up, we'll show you why in some states the bees aren't as busy as they used to be.
In sports, the year's first Battle of the Blues and the quest for the Carlisle Cup.
Weathercaster Johnny O will tell us if the warm weather will continue.
All that and a man who has everything he needs behind the wheel of his car. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Carla Babb.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thank you for joining us. We start tonight with breaking news. A new leader at the Chapel Hill Police Department. Town Manager Roger Stansel has confirmed that Police Captain Brian Curran will take over as chief effective immediately. We'll have more about that story on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. In other news tonight, when an estimated 20,000 activists recently flooded the small town of Jena, Louisiana, universities and organizations across the country held rallies to show their support for the so-called Jena 6. Reporter Marissa May joins us from Carroll Hall with more.
Here at UNC, activists held a rally and others took a charter bus to Jena. UNC sophomore Whitney Nebelisa made the trip and captured the event. Here are the sights and sounds of those rallying for justice in Jena and here on campus.
Jena 6! You must acquit! Jena 6! You must acquit!
We're out here rallying in support of the Jena 6 and justice for all.
I think this is an American issue. I think as a minority and as an American, I think that it's important that we all try to address issues of inequality along racial lines, and that we have a justice system that works for everybody, that doesn't show bias towards any one group or against any one group. I think this is an American problem. It's not just a problem that minorities should be concerned about and that white Americans should feel defensive about. It's a problem that we should all be able to come together and try to find common solutions to. But it should be talked about. We can't just shy away from it, and this is what we're trying to do.
Got nothing against nobody or nothing in this town. I love this. This is one of the best towns I've ever lived in. I'm being honest with you. Well, like I said, when we came down here from Katrina, and there was thousands of us came down here, because this is the only town that had any rooms open. When we got here, we came in, and like I said, them people, they gave us meals, they gave us clothing, they gave us all our personal needs, and that was everybody, not just us now. That was anybody that came in here, whether they was Korean, Asian, or whatever they were. Everyone got it. They won't come sit under my tree. You're more than welcome to come.
I definitely think it didn't come to the media a year ago when it happened because it's a race issue and people don't want to touch on that topic.
One of the Jena 6 is still in jail, so protests are likely to continue.
So Marissa, if you're a student, what can you do to support the 6 boys or learn more about the issues?
Students can join Young Democrats tonight at a meeting about what is justice. The meeting begins at 8 and is in the Haynes Art Center.
Thank you. Carolina Week's Marissa May live in Carroll Hall tonight.
Is using a taser appropriate when no one is being threatened? Last week, University of Florida senior Andrew Meyer asked John Kerry several pointed questions when authorities cut off his microphone. Then, police grabbed him. The video has become an internet sensation, including his plea not to be tasered.
Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me!
Here at Carolina, DPS spokesman Randy Young says the department's use of a taser would depend on the situation.
I think most people understand that it's not really prudent to look at one situation and judge how we would respond in a completely different situation. I think officers in any given scenario would respond as appropriate.
UNC police have used a taser only once in the 4 years since the department got them. The recent firings of 5 campus resident advisors for drinking at a retreat have prompted much debate about acceptable behavior for student housing employees. Resident advisors' duties include things like designing bulletin boards for their floor and displaying approved flyers, as well as setting an example for the residents on their floor. 7 additional RAs received some other type of punishment, but didn't get fired.
UNC students are preparing for job interviews after attending the Carolina Career Fair. More than 130 companies looking for intelligent employees showed up at the Dean Dome. The event gave graduating seniors a chance to meet with representatives and hand out resumes. Hendrick Carey Auto Mall's Joe Vogel says career fairs give students a chance to show off their personalities and practice networking skills.
Businesses that really are out there every single day. They're going to school, having some fun, and hopefully they can carry that into their careers.
University Career Services usually has 6 to 8 career fairs each year.
Yom Kippur is one of the holiest Jewish holidays. Many people in the Jewish community attended services at the North Carolina Hillel. The holy day began Friday at sundown and ended with a ceremony Saturday evening. Followers of the Jewish faith fast during the weekend to repent of their sins. Because the holy day was on the weekend, many people went home to celebrate with their families. Those who were unable to return home or who chose to stay in Chapel Hill said the service at Hillel gave them a different family to celebrate with.
It creates a warm, welcoming environment for students who do live far away, or even students that maybe feel more of a connection to their Judaism when they're here at Hillel.
After the Saturday service, participants shared snacks and drinks. Those who attended enjoyed the company of friends and celebrated the end of Yom Kippur.
Our grandparents remember the laundry soap 20 Mule Team Borax, but it has nothing to do with the Mule Days in Benson. Now in its 58th year, the festival is a 4-day celebration of the mule, a cross between a horse and donkey. Mule goers can go to rodeos, parades, and even a horseshoe tournament. And while wandering through the campgrounds, you can find mules of all shapes and sizes. Namir Isa brought this 3-year-old daughter for the sights. He says you don't have to run a ranch to have a good time.
And you can imagine what it was like to see people riding horses instead of, when you have car traffic. Now we have horse traffic in here, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun to see.
The Benson Mule Days is consistently ranked one of the best festivals in the South. Although mules get the spotlight, barbecue, bluegrass, and gun shows get the national recognition as well. You might find a lot of mules in the Tar Heel State, but honeybees are a different story.
After the break, why are bees here dying out, and what effect will that have on agriculture?
Mrs. Abruzzo, I'm Ed McMahon, and we're signing up people for...
Yes,
yes, I am. Yeah. Miss Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up... No.
Dreams really do come true.
Hombre, dinero.
No.
Con cámaras.
No time.
Yes,
Ed
con
McMahon,
cameras.
see.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, Ed McMahon. We're having our first
Ed
ever...
McMahon.
Yes. Tuesday night at the high school. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just...
5, 6, 7, 8.
No tango dinero. Neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right. I'll come back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
Some of you might be thankful there aren't as many bees buzzing around these days, but reporter Aaron Franklin shows us why few bees means big problems.
Swarms of honeybees are disappearing, and honeybee farmers across the country are asking themselves, where have all the workers gone?
I looked at my hives, and they were doing pretty good. I came back the latter part of January, and 3 of those hives completely disappeared.
And Floyd Watkins isn't alone. Beekeeper C.E. Harris says he also struggles with keeping his bees close to the hive.
I've lost as many as half of my bees in the winter, get them rebuilt next spring and summer, and then lose half of them again.
There are half as many domestic honeybees in the U.S. today as there were 50 years ago, and empty hives like this one are becoming more common. Nearly half the states are suffering bee losses. California and North Carolina are the hardest hit. The decline might be a result of years of pesticide use.
Pesticides travel airborne or are brought into the hive by the honeybees themselves. If they're toxic, it could wipe out an entire colony.
Parasites also contribute to the problem. The varroa mite is one of the biggest threats to bees. Mites like these caused this bee to lose its wings.
The bees' immune system apparently isn't all that great. That's why we're having problems keeping them alive.
Why is this worrisome? Because without honeybees, we'll lose crops like kiwis and apples, and no bees means no honey.
California is going to need more bees in February to pollinate almonds than they have in the country right now.
And that means that beekeepers and consumers like you will start to feel the sting. In Knott's Island, I'm Erin Franklin, Carolina Week.
Researchers are trying to breed honeybees that are resistant to pesticides and mites, but there's little doubt that these prodigious pollinators will be in short supply until then.
A recent study shows that women who smoke are more prone to acne than non-smokers. Researchers for the British Journal of Dermatology discovered that out of 1,000 women, 42% of the smokers had acne, compared to only 10% of the non-smokers. A type of non-inflammatory acne was common among smokers, and researchers say recognizing this type of acne will help identify the effects of tobacco on the skin. Until then, putting out that cigarette is the best way to beat health problems. They say beauty is pain, and high heels certainly qualify. Medical experts say that in addition to being uncomfortable, high heels can cause a lifetime of serious health problems. The American Podiatric Medical Association says heels more than 2 inches high can actually deform feet and legs. Women's feet aren't like Barbies. They're flatter and are meant to distribute weight evenly. Big pumps force feet into an unnatural position that might shorten the Achilles tendon and cause foot pain. To minimize damage from high heels, try wearing flats for most of the day and avoid high heels that are too tight. Or try chunkier heels that shorten and are only 2 inches tall.
Do you know which battle brought the American Revolution to an end? If you don't, you're not alone. Researchers at the University of Connecticut conducted a study to test college students' knowledge of U.S. history. UNC, Duke, and Pfeiffer University were among the 50 schools to take part. 14,000 freshmen and seniors participated. The study included questions about history, government, and international relations. Placing 9th overall, Duke led the 3 North Carolina universities with an average score of 63%. UNC came in 19th with an average of 58%, and Pfeiffer brought up the tail end with 44%, placing 40th overall. So do these UNC students know which battle ended the American Revolution?
Gettysburg, but I don't know anything about history, so.
Yorktown. It's Yorktown. It's Yorktown. Yorktown. Yorktown.
And he's right. The correct answer is the Battle of Yorktown. Harvard placed #1 overall with an average grade of 70%. If you want to test your wits, you can visit our website and take the quiz, www.carolinaweek.org.
If you're looking for some medieval fun, grab the kids, wind up your imagination, and head over to KidZoo. There's adventure and lots of excitement popping up at the Children's Museum. The new exhibit, The Amazing Castle, features hands-on learning experience for kids and adults. Visitors can cook up Storm in the Great Hall, hone their woodworking skills, and even put on a royal puppet show. The exhibit is designed to teach visitors about the importance of each role in a community. Last week we told you about our friend Peggy Sue, and we're pleased to tell you she's found a new home. Now for this week's pet. Meet Callie, a 10-month-old pit bull. She might be young and playful, but this puppy is already well trained. She's polite and always seems to please. She came to the shelter a few weeks ago, and now she's looking for a home that will give her lots of love and attention. For more information about how you can adopt Callie or any of the other animals at the shelter, visit our website at carolinaweek.org.
And now we're joined by weathercaster Johnny O.
Hi, Johnny. You know, last week when I was planning for flag football, I had to pack tights and a long sleeve shirt, and now I'm running in shorts and a t-shirt. What is up with this weather change?
Well, I wish that I could tell you in a simple answer, but it's actually not that simple. Yeah, you'd think that the start of fall means cooler weather, but people here are wearing shorts and spending time in the sun. Well, you need to bring out the fall clothes anytime for classes. I'll let you know next.
Passing gas around infants can be deadly. Passing gas releases a toxic fog of ammonia and hydrogen cyanide, which can be especially harmful on an infant's developing lungs. Passing gas can even contribute to sudden infant death syndrome. Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas, take it outside.
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I'm Jonathan. No, welcome back to Carolina Week. We had a huge hodgepodge of quite a bit of different scenarios. I'm sorry, I don't think we're talking about the new ticket policy. There you go. We are talking about your weather headlines. And, you know, officially, it's fall. And it's supposed to feel like fall. But in fact, unofficially, it still feels like summer. Temperatures are around 90 degrees. That was our high today, or around 90 degrees. And we're going to expect temperatures to stay like that for the next couple of days. And then rain relief is ahead. We're expecting temperatures to also fall toward the upper 70s by this weekend. So I'll tell you all about that in just a second. First of all, let's take a look at the Doppler network. Notice here's North Carolina, and there's nothing to talk about in terms of precipitation. You might notice that there are some rain showers over in Louisiana and Arkansas, and that's just moving toward the north. And cloud cover, similar conditions, clouds throughout the entire midwestern section of the United States. And the reason is because of a high pressure system located right there over Ohio, and that's serving as a blocking mechanism for any kind of rain for our neck of the woods. And until this pushes toward the east, we're not going to see anything in terms of rain. But fortunately, there's a front that will be pushing toward the east by Thursday and Friday, which means we're going to see some relief and temperatures possibly falling quite a bit. Now, if you're traveling anytime for the next day or so, again, the high pressure will be giving us sunny skies for the eastern portions of the United States, but the west, notice cooler temperatures. Look at this. Upper 70s is what we're seeing in the Midwest, and that will be headed toward our neck of the woods by Thursday and Friday. Now, it is fall, so when are the leaves going to change colors? Well, we're taking a look at this particular map, and notice we're located in this light yellow section of this particular graphic, meaning early November. So you're going to have to wait for a couple of months before you can even see any kind of real peak color changes. You can probably head over to the mountains to see earlier change of leaf colors, but until November, for us here, expect green and maybe kind of yellow leaves. Now, Future View tells us here we are at UNC Chapel Hill. We're going to put this into motion, and what we're expecting, no rain. Notice there's not even a green spot on this particular graphic. In fact, I don't even see any clouds on this particular graphic. But by Tuesday night into Wednesday, we'll be seeing some clouds moving from the south, and by tomorrow evening, we'll be expecting partly cloudy skies. Here's your forecast for tonight. Expect temperatures to be in the 60s, 60 degrees here in Chapel Hill, 62 at Duke, 63 at State. For tomorrow, expect mostly sunny skies. Highs will be around 91 degrees in Chapel Hill, 90 at Duke, and 89 at State. Here's your 4-day forecast. 2 things to keep in mind. By Thursday and Friday, expect that chance of rain. Temperatures will fall off into the 80s, but then here's the major change that's going to happen after Friday. Clearing skies and daytime highs will be in the upper 70s. And so it's going to really feel like fall. So as you head into the weekend, pull out those blue jeans, pull out those long sleeve shirts, because it's going to feel like fall.
You know, being in the South, I love my warm weather, but I really am looking forward to the leaves changing, so I can't wait when that gets here.
Ditto here.
It's about time. Thanks, Johnny. It might be easier for students to get tickets to basketball games this year. The Carolina Athletic Association has a new ticket distribution policy. Students still register online for each game, but the tickets they receive through the lottery will be general admission. You'll have to enter the Dean Dome at a certain time. The phased entrance times now allow students to sit with a group of their friends. The details are on our website, carolinaweek.org.
And now we're joined by sportscaster Mark Alexic.
Hey Mark, it was a bad weekend for football, but it was a good weekend actually for some other Carolina sports teams.
Yeah, super sad Saturday for football, but you know, silver lining elsewhere. Coming up in sports, the women's soccer team had a standout weekend at the Duke Adidas Classic, and we'll have the highlights for you.
Just want a whole wheat. Hey, excuse me?
Excuse me, sir. Something wrong?
Yeah, there's something wrong. You want to get me some whole wheat? Oh, come on. Hey, hey, amigo. Hey, I asked you for whole wheat bread. This is not what I wanted. El Guido.
Sorry for the confusion.
You know, that's the problem with these people. If you want to serve Americans, you got to learn to speak the language. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. I don't. Enjoy your lunch.
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Mark Alexic. And even if our football team is not doing so good, I'm still doing good. Following Saturday's shellacking by USF in football, it's hard to find many remaining games on the schedule that look winnable. Matthew Meadows was in Tampa for the debacle.
North Carolina's second road game of the season exposed every weakness of the young team. The South Florida Bulls dominated the Heels 37-10 at Raymond James Stadium. The UNC offense struggled throughout the entire game while the defense showed only modest signs of life. UNC's defense forced 3 fumbles, but the offense failed to capitalize on them. The Heels failed to establish any kind of running game, once again making the offense one-dimensional and vulnerable.
That's probably the most physical game I've ever been in so far, so definitely took some shots in that game. They did a good job blitzing us and staying on us, so they did a good job.
UNC's offense had put points on the board in the first 3 games. The defense had struggled, and those struggles continued Saturday.
We got to tackle. We got to tackle. We got to know our assignments, basically. Our coaches do a great job game planning and, putting us in the right position. We just got to get there and get to the ball carrier. And when we get to them, we got to swarm tackle. 6, 7 hats need to be on the ball carrier every time, basically.
The schedule is only going to get tougher from here. USF was the first-ranked opponent UNC played this season. If the young Heels want to find success on the gridiron, the offense will need to become multi-dimensional and do a better job controlling the clock. And the defense will have to find a way to get off the field. The Heels will take on Virginia Tech in Blacksburg this coming weekend. In Tampa, I'm Matthew Meadows, Carolina Week.
The women's soccer team is in an unusual spot, having already lost 2 matches this season. Against the San Francisco Dons Sunday, the Heels unleashed a season-high 30 shots on goal. Here's Yael Averbush blasting it to the goal, but she's denied. The Heels get another try, this time on a beautifully placed corner kick, but it's headed right to the goalie. Minutes later, Rachel Given gets the cross, but it's off the crossbar. All right, maybe next time, ladies. Averbush showing the fancy footwork, blasting it over the goalie's head for the goal. Averbush scoring the lone goal of the first half as the Heels go on to get a shutout, 2-0. The Boston College Eagles flew south for a matchup against the Heels in men's soccer on Saturday night. Bill Dworsky shoots, but blocked by the BC goalkeeper, but Michael Callahan is right there to boot it in. The Tar Heels led for most of the second half. With only 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go, Ruben Ayarna sails the ball to Alejandro Bedoya, and Boston College scores. The teams head into overtime. And just 37 seconds in, Mike Konikoff slides the ball right past the Carolina keeper to seal the Eagles' win 2-1. The Heels head to Richmond Friday to face VCU. The men's tennis team is riding high after winning the UNC Fall Invitational this weekend. Seniors Kyle Wishart and David Stone led the Heels, each winning his singles bracket. Here, David Stone rallies to defeat his own teammate, Sandeep Daya, in the finals. Doubles partners Lenny Gulan and David Stone outplayed their competition, winning a point here against Navy in the finals. Golan and Stone went on to defeat teammates Benjamin Carlotti and Andrew Crone in the finals, and Coach Sam Paul is pleased with the seniors.
It's a good weekend. I mean, it's still early. We've only been in practice 2 weeks now, but our seniors, that's the one thing. We have a lot of seniors on this team, and so they played well.
The volleyball team faced 2 tough ACC opponents this weekend in Carmichael Auditorium. Neither the fans nor the band could pull the Tar Heels through Friday night as the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets stung our ladies in a 4-game match. the Heels dropped the first 2 games of the match before fighting back to win that 3rd game. But the Yellow Jackets proved to be too much for the Heels as they took the 4th game by a score of 30-26. Coach Joe Segula said his team just didn't win the big points of the match.
But that's what it comes down to when you're playing high-level volleyball. It's the concentration. 1 or 2 plays here or there can determine the success of an outcome.
The Yellow Jackets' sting hurt longer as Carolina fell to Clemson Saturday night. After losing the first 2 games, Carolina won a spirited Game 3, only to lose the 4th game 32-30. The loss to Clemson leaves Carolina 5-7 on the year and 1-2 in the ACC. Carolina's next game will be at Maryland on Friday. It is so sweet to beat Duke at anything, and the field hockey team had a chance to do that on Saturday in their season opener with Duke. The first half of the game was as intense as the heat. Carolina had 2 early goals called off, including that one by Allie Tanner. But Jessie Guy eventually broke through for the Lady Heels just before half on this shot from the top of the circle. Carolina's Larry Beans scored 1 of 4 second-half goals as the Heels dominated the final 35 minutes. Carolina recorded its 5th consecutive shutout 5-0, and freshman sensation Elizabeth Drazdowski says her first experience in the Duke-Carolina rivalry was special.
It was awesome. The fever was awesome. The stands were packed. So it was a really, really fun game to play in.
And of course, it's always great to beat Duke in anything.
Absolutely.
And that also means that we are ahead of Duke in the race for the Carlisle Cup by 1 point.
And we're hoping to maybe pick up some easy points in football when we play Duke later this season.
Definitely.
Definitely. Thanks, Mark. You know, Adam, most people don't choose to be homeless.
But coming up, meet a guy who's calling his car his home, not because he has to, but because he wants to.
Downtown Chapel Hill restaurants offer over 15 different cuisines. From the far corners of the world to simple Southern delicacies, there are a variety of different dining experiences that will satisfy every appetite. No matter where you choose to go, you're sure to find a restaurant that is perfect for you. So, for your next night out, why go anywhere else but downtown Chapel Hill?
If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org.
One UNC student has taken the term campus housing to a whole new level. Carolina Week's Claire Williamson tells us how he's turned the entire campus into his home.
This is Eli Rayfield's chosen home. After participating in Poverty Awareness Week last year, the 5th-year senior decided to forego housing and live out of his car.
It's sort of like I'm camping out or hiking for the semester.
The car is by no means full, just a few necessities like books and a change of clothes.
Now just beginning to think about how I had a lot more stuff than I really needed to be living happily.
Rayfield spends most weeknights sleeping in a hammock around campus, waking up early enough to shower at one of UNC's recreation centers.
And during the week, it can be out in the woods, it could be staying with a friend. And really, the whole nomad term is that I don't have any one-set place that I have to sleep. I can go wherever I want.
His newest passion is parkour, a practice which involves climbing walls and trees. Rayfield says living out of his car is just an extension of his constant need for new challenges.
I'm always doing something different. I'm always doing some extreme for trying to see what it's like to experience life like that.
While many people may label Rayfield homeless, he believes what he is doing is quite the opposite.
Rather than being homeless, it was that the whole town became my home.
And what a home it is. In Chapel Hill, I'm Claire Williamson, Carolina Week.
You know, Carla, the thing on that really bothers me is just not taking a shower.
Yeah, I definitely need to be indoors for those kinds of things. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you for watching. Good night.